We live in a world where it's easy to compare ourselves to others, especially in ministry. Hi, I'm Todd Rhodes. I am your host here on the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. I'm also one of the co-founders over at chemistrystaffing.com. And today we're going to talk about the comparison trap. We see megachurches, celebrity pastors, viral sermons, and we can't help but wonder, am I doing enough? Is my church really making an impact? Will I ever be as successful as Andy Stanley? Well, let's be honest, Andy Stanley's name probably comes up in a lot of those comparisons. I love Andy. As many people call him, he's Andy freaking Stanley, right? He's a gifted communicator. Andy's a visionary leader. He's a pastor of one of the largest, most influential churches in the country. And some people love him. Some people absolutely hate him. I'm one that really, Andy, I think he's a great leader. But really, it's easy to look at successes and feel inadequate or discouraged and even a little envious. But are you ready for this? I'm going to lay some cold, dark truth on you right now, okay? Are you ready? You might want to sit down. If you're driving, maybe pull off the side of the road and wait, because this is going to be pretty profound, okay? So here's the truth. You are not Andy Stanley, unless you actually are Andy Stanley and you're listening to this podcast. Hey, Andy. But the truth is, you are not Andy Stanley, and guess what? That's all right. That's okay. Okay, God has uniquely gifted and called each of us to a specific ministry context. And honestly, your church may not be as big as North Point. Your sermons may not go viral. You may not have a book deal, and at least yet, but that doesn't mean that your ministry is any less valuable or any less impactful. In fact, the North Point survey that I talked about recently on this podcast reveals a powerful truth. Success isn't just about the numbers or fame. It's about creating a church where people feel welcomed and valued and challenged to grow in their faith. And it's about making a real difference in the lives of your church and in your community. How do you do that? How do you find your own path to success? How do you stop comparing yourself to the church down the street or the big pastor that you really respect? Here are a few tips for you. Number one, embrace your uniqueness, right? Don't try to be somebody that you're not, right? God has given you a unique gift set. He's given you unique talents, unique experiences, and lean into those and lead authentically. And then secondly, focus on your mission. What is God calling your church to do? Not what God's calling North Point to do or the church down the street that seems to be growing exponentially. What is God calling your church to do? What are the specific needs of your church, of your community? Clarify your mission. Align your efforts accordingly to what God has really called your church to do. And then next, invest in relationships. People don't come to church for a show. Maybe they used to 10 years ago, but those days are over. And before that, it was, if you build it, they will come. And guess what? A lot of people build it and nobody's coming. People come for connection and relationship and community. And if you build genuine relationships with your church and listen to their needs and create a welcoming and inclusive environment, your church will be much better and you'll be a better leader for it. Next, prioritize discipleship. Don't just focus on attracting crowds. If you know anything about Andy and North Point at all, you know that they don't just focus on attracting crowds. They focus on discipleship. Focus on making disciples. Invest in your people. Equip them for ministry so that you can empower them to share their faith with others. And then celebrate progress, not perfection. Don't get discouraged by comparing yourself to everybody else. Celebrate the progresses that you're making. Celebrate what God is doing in your church and in your neighborhood, no matter how small. Every step forward is a victory. Okay, so here's the bottom line for you today, and I want you to be encouraged from this, okay? You don't have to be Andy Stanley to lead a successful church. Get that out of your head. That's of the devil, right? Embrace your uniqueness. Focus on your mission that God has given you in your church. Invest in relationships. Prioritize discipleship. Celebrate wins and successes. And you can create a thriving ministry that honors God and impacts many lives around you. Remember, comparison is the thief of joy. So let's stop comparing ourselves to others and start celebrating the really unique ways that God is using each of us to build His kingdom. It's different for you. It's different for me. It's different for Andy. As always, if you need encouragement or support or just want to give some feedback on our podcast, maybe you've got a topic you would love for me to tackle on the Healthy Church Staff Podcast, reach out to me anytime. My address is podcast@Chemistry Staffing. I'm here to cheer you on. I'm always on your side, help you discover how to be faithful and successful in your ministry. Podcast@Chemistry Staffing. Love to hear from you, and I'd love it if you would join us again tomorrow right here on the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. Have a great day.